There's a moment every entrepreneur hits. You're working harder than you ever have. The calendar is packed, but the inbox feels endless. That to-do list never gets shorter, and somehow the business still isn't growing the way that it should be. But the problem isn't effort. The problem is leverage. Welcome to the Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, John Davidson, and every week I'm sitting down with founders and top performers who have found that lever. The hire, the system, that mindset shift that changed everything. This show is for the business owner who's ready to stop being the bottleneck and start being the architect. Let's get into it. And welcome to another episode of the Leverage Podcast. I am your host, John Davidson, and I'm excited to be joined today by Sarah Aucoin, hailing from the great city of New Orleans. Sarah, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
To start out, can you spell your name for those listening and watching? Because Aucoin, I didn't get it the first time.
It is not phonetic. It is very French. It's very Cajun French. So it's Aucoin, like Aucoin, like a gold coin. Aucoin. So it's very French. It's very Cajun French.
That one stumped me. When I was reading your profile and learning all about the incredible work that you do down in New Orleans. Well, speaking of French and Cajun culture, why don't we start out by telling our audience what makes New Orleans a great city to buy a home?
Well, New Orleans is arguably one of the greatest cities of the world. The culture here, the dynamic here, there is not a block that you can't go down that isn't steeped in history and culture. Everyone is so friendly and nice. You will never meet a stranger in New Orleans. And if you love architecture and if you love history and if you love really, really good food, then New Orleans will always be your home.
That sounds good to me. Sign me
Right?
up. Well, so you are born and bred in this city. Share with me how this unique and really incredible culture of New Orleans shaped you to the person you are today.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans, growing up in New Orleans has shaped almost every single thing about me. It's shaped how I approach real estate, because a house isn't just a house. A house is always a home. When you are approaching a transaction, you're not just buying and selling. You are creating this moment where somebody will purchase something that they will make all of their memories. They will wake up every morning, cook dinner every night in, and that is what I target. And if you really understand those aspects of it, you understand that history, that architecture, that family, the neighborhoods, the traditions, and all of those things truly matter. I grew up understanding that, 2 blocks, they're not even the same. There's so many different cultures, so closely compacted, all making one meld that we call New Orleans. And once you understand that it makes the selling process so easy because it almost sells itself.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, when we think of New Orleans, what still comes up in our memories is Hurricane Katrina, right? And so many communities were impacted through that terrible disaster. Share how going through that experience in person really helped you develop resilience and how that has benefited you in your career.
So, I mean, I'm going to paraphrase, but I think Drew Brees said it best when he did his Hall of Fame speech recently, that losing everything that you own helps you remember all of the things that you can't ever actually get back. Losing the things that you are able to lose, it helps you really appreciate all of the things that remain. And I was 17 when Katrina happened, and it completely changed my life. Like my life, it destroyed my city. I lost everything. I lost everything, including my dog. I lost every single thing except for the clothes on my back. And I learned that stuff is just stuff. And it's a really, really hard pill to swallow. After we started picking up the blocks and building back up, I met my husband. I met my husband in civics class even though I went to Cabrini and he went to Holy Cross, which are it's an all girls and an all boys school, but the two high schools had to merge back together because we had to bootstrap it. We had to do the best we could, and the two high schools couldn't open independently, but together we could. And we are still married all these years. And we have two beautiful children. So I lost everything, but then I learned to build it all back. And everything is fixable. And if you just try hard enough and you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you can go from absolutely zero. Everything can be washed away, quite literally. And you can build it all back and everything will be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been through anything like that, but I've been through some hard times in my life. And when the things that you think matter, are stripped away, what really matters becomes much more evident, I think is what you're sharing there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, living in New Orleans, experiencing Hurricane Katrina, how did this shape you as you decided your career and decided to choose real estate to focus on?
So I used to be a stenographer, sitting quietly in the back of a courtroom, and
that's hard to believe.
Right? It wasn't for me. I once had a judge tell me that my facial expressions are so loud that I could cause a mistrial. But then I kept trudging along.
Strike the facial expressions from the record. Yeah.
It's an issue. It's a legitimate
impacting the jury.
Honestly. But so in 2017, I was like, I'm unhappy. And there is a women's organization in New Orleans called the Junior League, and I'm a big part of it. And I was explaining to these ladies of just how unhappy I was at my career and all of these things and how I was considering real estate. Well, in the Junior League, I had been taught that I could be a leader of my community and I could do great things. I could do all these big things. Meanwhile, I was an abject failure at my job. I was so terrible at being a stenographer. It was awful. But in the Junior League, I was excelling and I was a leader and I was doing all of these great things and I was being recognized for it. And I realized that these two things just don't go together. And I gained the courage and I decided to rip the Band-Aid off and take the leap of faith and become a real estate agent. And 30 days after I got the real estate book and in study information, I completely passed all of the examinations necessary to become a real estate agent. And then within 30 days of becoming an active agent, I had a $400,000 house under contract. So, and I know that is not typical. That is not, that's not an average experience, but I knew that I could do it. I never knew that I couldn't. With stenography, it was the polar opposite. But with this, I decided that I was going to do something that I love. And the thing that I love most is New Orleans. And what better way to be a part of the history and the architecture and the agriculture and all of the things of New Orleans is to be a part of the buying and selling process.
I love that. Yeah, that's a really great perspective. I'm curious, what is an attribute, a characteristic that you have, your personality, that made stenography not work, but also made real estate work?
It's just me in a nutshell, honestly. It's just being, the word bombastic comes to mind.
It being this ball of energy that needs to.
No, I mean, I should have never chosen a profession where being quiet was a mandate. I am good in front of a crowd. So
just not as a mime.
Right. No, not at all. So what didn't work in stenography is because I wasn't using any of my greatest attributes. My greatest attributes is communication, negotiation, I was just basically doing a performance where you just had to type very, very fast and not using any of my other skills. And that was a detriment to me. I should have never attempted to go into a profession where I wasn't using my strongest skills.
Yeah. That's a great point. I think, sometimes we see people who don't excel in school, right? Traditional school, and
Mhm.
it's, it's like, well, it's just the box that this person is in is not a situation where they excel. I remember seeing this illustration. It was something like there are all these different animals,
Mhm.
and they were telling them to do the same task. So I can't remember exactly what the task was, but
Right.
let's say it's put a ball in a hoop or something, right? And it's like the monkey was really good at it, but the hippopotamus like wasn't, and then like I don't know, the eagle flew off with the
No,
ball.
no,
You know what I'm talking
honestly,
about?
yes, like it was like Socrates or like one of them, one of those.
Yeah.
There is a famous quote that says, if you try to make a fish climb a tree, it will feel like a failure its whole life. I was the fish. And I was
Hmm.
trying to climb the stenography tree, and it was never going to work. And I jumped into the ocean of real estate, and now I'm the biggest fish in the pot. So,
What an
so
analogy.
right, I mean, it really goes to show, like, I can't, I want to be unequivocal with this, that I am the same person, and I was doing one job and I was a failure at it, and then I literally just changed the job, and I am top 1% of realtors in America. So if
Wow.
you are not happy in your job, I know it's scary. I know it's hard. I know the thought of telling my husband that I was going to completely rip the rug out from a salary job to go completely commission based was absolutely terrifying. But if I had not done that, our lives would look so different.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that he is so motivating, and he stood behind me 100% because I needed that, and I needed that encouragement in order to change our lives for the dramatic better. So
I
if you're
love
scared,
that.
just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah, and speaks to the importance of an incredible partner who is behind you and supporting you, and you're working on the same team and accomplishing those goals together. I think that's fantastic. Well, as you said, you are in the top 1% of realtors in the United States, which is
Mhm.
absolutely incredible. Help me understand, what is it that you are doing today that you didn't know you should be doing on day one? What are you doing today that has enabled you to reach this level that most normal or starting out real estate agents don't realize?
I would say, and you're going to say that it's simple, but the most important thing about being a realtor is adding more context to your phone every single day.
Hmm.
I don't mean to quote Ryan Sturhan, but he makes it a point to add at least 15 contacts a day, every single
A
day,
day?
into
Wow.
his phone. There are not many professions where every single person over the age of 18 can be your potential client. There's just not. There's not that many things that are have that capability.
Yeah.
In real estate, every single person over the age of 18 can purchase a house or invest in real estate, or if they have something to sell, or I mean, you name it. There are so many opportunities in that. And I did not understand that first starting out. I really had my nose to the grindstone. I was very focused on open houses and and farming and cold calling, and those things are important. Yes, they are. It is not as important as making genuine connections at your child's school, at your doctor's office, when you're at the grocery store. Every single one of those people live in a home. And realistically, the American dream is to own your own home.
Right.
So if you can be personable and knowledgeable and inviting, they will feel open to ask you questions. It will naturally come out that you're a realtor. They won't feel like you're trying to sell them or pressure them, or like similar to how you feel on a cold call. It's a natural way of conversation, and they feel like they're asking for your help, not you are asking for their business.
Right.
It's a relationship where it naturally flows.
Yeah, that's great insight there. Now, we're all going through life interacting with people, right? I'm going through life. I see people every day at work, after work, on the weekends, at my son's soccer game, at his school, whatever, right? I'm not adding 15 contacts to my phone. What are you doing differently in your interactions with people that is enabling you to build those relationships while many of us are just kind of going through life and really not engaging with the folks around us?
I say it often that I'm a wealth of useless knowledge. But it's almost a little bit of an incognito trait of mine. I'll just kind of randomly name the architecture of the house next door, or I will point out the flooring is a beautiful quarter saw oak, and it gives a person an interest in why I would know that, how I would know that. I say little tidbits like that for them to ask me the questions. And it just naturally comes out that I am a realtor, and everyone knows everybody that either is about to sell a house or going to sell a house, or they were looking for investment property, etc. If you are engaging, personable, and then where you seal the deal is, though, once you get that foot in the door, you have to be concise, consistent, and extremely knowledgeable about any market that you are selling.
Give me an example of that.
So if we yesterday, this is a real story that that happened to me yesterday. I was at my new son's school, and I have offered to be the new chairwoman of the fest that we have at the school. It's called Gator Fest. And
of course it is.
Right. Yeah, right. And I was being shown around, and and the school nurse walks up, and I introduce myself and I say, hello, how are you? And she was talking about how much she loves her job. And I said, oh my God, I love my job too. I'm a realtor. Even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would take calls the next day. And she said, oh, I need to purchase a house in February. Can I have your phone number? Of course you can have my phone number. Let me send you the entire home buying process and my contact information, and we'll get started. I have predict text on my phone, so all I have to do is press a few buttons. It sends my entire contact info, the entire home buying process, and then a little questionnaire of what she's looking for and what her phone number is and what her email is. And it's a 30-second interaction, but now I have a new contact.
Yeah, I see the leverage you've created in your communication there with this automation.
Right. Yeah.
Super
you
cool.
got to be able to do it fast. There are a lot of very successful people that say the fastest person wins. There's no, I'll call you next week in real estate. It is, I will call you, I will text you immediately, and I'm going to follow up in an hour. So,
yeah. Fantastic. Well, I want to learn more about other aspects of leverage and this multiplier effect that you've built into your real estate business. But first, let's listen to a message from our sponsor, Sphere Rocket.
Business owners and entrepreneurs will place a proven executive assistant VA for just $4 to $8 an hour, and if they don't perform, you don't pay. Imagine freeing up 20 plus hours a week by someone handling your most time-consuming tasks like admin work, managing emails, scheduling meetings, and so much more. This one hire could transform your productivity and give you back the time you need to focus on growing your business. At Sphere Rocket VA, we make this possible in as little as 7 days. We'll place a proven executive assistant VA in your business for just $4 to $8 an hour, and your VA will take over day-to-day administrative tasks, help manage your email, email, and calendar. Follow up with past clients, giving you back 20 plus hours a week so you can increase your sales and even enjoy more personal time. And here's the best part. If they don't give you back 20 plus hours a week in the first month, you don't pay Sphere Rocket a dime. We've done this for thousands of business owners, and now it's your turn to see the results. Click the link around this video to schedule a demo and discover how this one hire can completely change how you run your business. Remember, if within 45 days the VA doesn't perform, you don't pay.
All right, I am here with Sarah Aucoin, and she is sharing all sorts of great insights on this episode about how she has gotten into the real estate industry and how she is helping homeowners and sellers appreciate this incredible city. Sarah, are you there with me now? Let's see. All right, there, I've got you back with me. I appreciate all the insights that you're sharing here on real estate and specifically the beautiful and amazing culture of New Orleans. You just shared a little tidbit with us of how you are adding contacts by interacting with people in everyday life, and really the leverage that you've created in that. It seems like a small thing, but you've kind of automated your from mobile text sales process to sharing that with a client. What are some other aspects of leverage you've applied to your business, whether that be systems, people, or technology that have helped you reach the top agent level that you're at today?
So I have taken my business cards and I threw them away. Honestly, they do go into my binders and whatnot. They go a part of my marketing. Mm-hmm. Do not hand someone a business card. You just asked about technology. The only technology that a realtor needs is a cell phone and a laptop. That is it. We don't need all of these other apps and all of the things that so many people try to push on us. A lot of people try to make a lot of money off of real estate agents, and you need to know everything there is to know about your neighborhood and all of the markets that you are pushing, from the architecture to the people to the average ages, the marital statuses, the amount of children that everybody has in all of those areas. You need to have that as a foundation. After that, all of those marketing tools and everything, you don't need any of that. No one keeps a business card. They throw it away immediately. You're lucky if they take a picture of it and then it's lost in the log of their pictures. True. You want a quick predict text that is available on every phone, that where you can say, oh, absolutely, what's your phone number? You type in their phone number. Mine, I type in STAAA and it will immediately text them my full name, my email address, all of my contact information with my office and all the things to make you compliant, because I always got to stay compliant. Yep. And then I have another predict text of QQQ, and that asks a longer question of it's a little questionnaire of what they're looking for. And then I have a note in my notes app that has the entire home buying process. Those three things have I mean, tenfold my business. Wow. Being able to get that out that quickly, it just shows somebody that you have everything together, that you know exactly what you're doing, exactly how to do it, and in the fastest way possible. And that's what anyone wants in a real estate agent. Oh, yeah. They want knowledge, and they want to be able to hear it and have it delivered as fast as possible. Speed is everything, because when somebody just decides to purchase a house, it's going to happen quickly. It's a very stressful, scary process, and people don't like to sit in stress and scary that long. It's just the reality of the situation. So once I learned to utilize these simple things on my phone that come with your phone, you do not have to purchase any of these apps or anything like that. Once you're utilizing that technology that is in everyone's hand, you will be able to excel your business dramatically. Do not hand anybody a business card ever. unless it's for a raffle. So, like,
Right.
honestly, no one's going to keep a business card. And also, once I have their cell phone number, I text them all this stuff. And if they haven't responded to me in 30 minutes, I say, hey, just wanted to put this back on top. And they say, oh my gosh, I apologize. I got XYZ, whatever it is. But now you have their contact. If you're handing somebody a business card and they go off into Never Never Land, you're never going to see them again. So, and it's so quick. So the way that you do it so effortlessly and quickly, as soon as they say anything about wanting to buy a house, you just say, great, what's your phone number? And they just immediately give it to you. And now you have their phone number. And then you have those predict texts where they'll be able to text you back their name and email. And even if they haven't responded to you, which does happen from time to time, you can just send them an email saying like, hey, I know you live uptown New Orleans. Just want you to know what's the rates and what's the average price per square foot in your area right now. If you want me to come do a current market analysis for your house, I'd love to come do a listing consultation. We can even do it over Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, you send that in depth, that fast. And, obviously you got the speed, you got to seize the moment, like you're saying. But boy, my reaction, if somebody, if I met you at the grocery store and I get all that, I was like, this lady has her stuff together. Like, this is somebody who, in this very important, complex, confusing problem I have of I'm going to sell my house or I'm going to buy a new one or both, where I don't know what I don't know. I want somebody who is on top of it. And that's a great first impression, to be like, yeah, I got it together. Let's go find the home of your dreams. Right?
Right. I mean, people want that confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence is absolute key in real estate. You have to be extremely confident. And if you're not, you're not going to sell houses. Fake it till you make it, So let's go.
Yeah. Well, you don't strike me as someone who lacks much confidence.
What do you mean?
Another question for you. You talked about how like everybody over the age of 18 is a potential client, right? I've talked to a lot of top performers in real estate, and some folks have a really specific target, and they're big proponents of make sure your niche and you've got your specific target market, and I'm going after these folks because I understand them and we have the same lifestyle and the same interests and such. Do you apply that in your business, or do you have an attitude of, hey, anyone I meet in this city is a potential customer? And, how does that work for you?
I try to be like almost the embodiment of New Orleans. And in New Orleans, you will have a literal billionaire standing next to somebody who owns an $80,000 house in New Orleans East. And we are all at the same event, all hanging out and all getting along great. And in New Orleans, you can be talking to an 18-year-old whose father is a billionaire, or or vice versa. There has been many times where I am doing a transaction for a multi-million-dollar house on St. Charles while simultaneously doing a transaction for an $80,000 house in New Orleans East. Wow. And I treat all of those clients equally. I am, I still am in the earlier time of being a real estate agent. I'm just, I've just been a real estate agent since 2017. I hope I do keep this consistency throughout my entire career. And I mean, I treat my clients like I treat everyone. I do not pick and choose on the account of their pocketbook. Yeah. I know that there is a significant commission breakdown, but in New Orleans, there are so many people that are so well connected that if you do not treat one person appropriately, it has a really good chance of grapevining up to somebody who you would have treated with that respect that you're talking about with these other agents. I treat everybody the exact same. I give every transaction the exact same chutzpah as everything. And I don't know, I God bless those other agents, but I don't think that that's a good way of doing things. I mean, maybe in very large cities where the camaraderie and the overall community is very different than New Orleans. I don't ever see myself working anywhere else. So in New Orleans, everyone is everyone. We are all together. No matter who it is or what it is. And if you treat everybody equally and appropriately and you give the same dynamic to every single person, it's going to pay off no matter what.
Yeah, that's great feedback. Just a couple more questions for you. For those who are not from New Orleans, or maybe are not familiar with this beautiful city and the robust culture that you're sharing with us today, if I were to visit, okay? Got 3 aspects of this visit. Where should I stay? Where should I make sure I eat? And what's an event that I have to experience in New Orleans?
Well, that is an extraordinarily complex question because it all depends on what level of participation that you want to engage in.
Let's say high level of participation.
The highest level is going to be Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras, it is, a lot of people think Mardi Gras is just one day. Bless their hearts. Mardi Gras starts on January 6th every year. That is the Epiphany. It's 12th night of Christmas. And that is when Carnival commences. It commences with the Funny 40 Fellows on the streetcar line, kicking off the Mardi Gras celebrations. And we will have the parties and carnivals and all of the things all the way until Mardi Gras Day. It revolves around the Easter calendar. It's all about Catholicism, ironically. So it's going to be very short this year, but it can go even all the way into March sometimes. So there are times when the city of New Orleans is partying from January 6th until like March 6th.
Wow.
And the last 2 weeks before Mardi Gras Day is the most involved time. I would say the best time to come would be to get here on the Tuesday before Mardi Gras. You want to stay at the Garden District Hotel on Britannia. And the first priority of business is to be eating, I would say Commander's Palace, and you have to get the bread pudding souffle. And then you have to make it down to the French Quarter. Only do one day in the French Quarter. Do not spend your entire time in the French Quarter. That is not New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans, a lot of the history and architecture is so rich there. But unfortunately, a lot of people use the French Quarter as a playground, and you wind up getting very lost in the chaos of that, particularly during Mardi Gras. But you have to go to GW Finn's in the French Quarter. That is one of the best restaurants in New Orleans. One of my personal favorites is right here on Magazine Street. It's called Kingsway, and it was just recognized by a Michelin star. And so when you're staying at the Garden District Hotel, you're going to make your way up to St. Charles, get on the neutral ground, and stake out your place and watch all of the parades that go by. You will be able to download the Parade Tracker app, and you'll know when all the parades are happening. The parades start on Wednesday, and they go every single day until the next Tuesday. So, yes, you are going to be extremely tired. You're going to need a lot of the coffee. Make sure and stop at Central Grocery on Washington and St. Charles to get all the coffee that you need. It's a long day. It's a long day every single day for an entire week. And I mean, if you really want to go into it, you come the week before and you do the full 2 weeks of Mardi Gras. My husband and I, basically, we go camp out on the neutral ground on Napoleon and camp for the entirety of Mardi Gras. We'll be out there for Friday, and it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You get a little intermission on Monday and Tuesday, but we're right back at it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Mardi Gras Day is obviously Tuesday. So,
obviously. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and so it's going to be really difficult to make it. So make your reservations in advance, far in advance. And then just keep in mind when you're out on the parade route, you know, nothing beats a Popeye's fried chicken, you know, so.
That's a safe bet. Yeah.
It's a safe bet. And, you know, and
Words to live by.
Yeah, right. There's a Popeyes pretty close to the Garden District Hotel because you're going to be on Britannia and you're just going to walk right up to St. Charles, and there's a Popeyes pretty close by.
Love it. Last question for you: how are our LSU Tigers looking?
Oh my gosh!
Ahead of this college football season.
So. My little cousin was at LSU. He just graduated last year, and he had a lot of friends that have now been drafted into the NFL, and they were LSU Tigers, and it really changed my vision of them. I really view them as children now, and not just actual football players. So it's really weird to have that dynamic completely changed for me, but. The Tigers are always the Tigers, and it is such a fiery dynamic up in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away from New Orleans, and it's like Mardi Gras light almost. If you just want like a 1 day Mardi Gras experience, you can basically go up there. It's not Mardi Gras, but the tailgating, it all has a very similar vibe. You know, there obviously will not be a parade other than the parade that the players do to get into the stadium. But but they're always great. And then the Saints we're about to kick off. The first preseason is Saturday.
I'm excited.
We are very excited to get our Saints back in the dome. And, you know, Tyler Shuck is very promising, and we are so excited. You know, I'm a season ticket holder, and I'll be a season ticket holder until I die. So no matter paper bag and all, let's go.
I love it. Well, Sarah, very last question for you here. If I did travel to New Orleans and I fell in love with the city and I said, I have got to live here, who should I get in contact with, and how can I get in contact with her to purchase a home?
Well, the first order of business would be call me, Sarah Aucoin, and I can be reached at 504-704-9192. You can email me at sarah.aucoin@cbtec.com, or find me at my website, which is experiencethatmovesyou.net.
Love it. Well, Sarah, thank you for joining me today. I loved hearing all about the beautiful culture of New Orleans and the insights that you've shared with your successful real estate career. Thank you for joining me today on the Leverage Podcast.
Thank you.